magkakaroon po tayo ng link sa ating website specifically for that. And then, i-click natin, and then it will ask for basic requirements po, and then you will have to choose the schedule. Because of that po, wala na po tayong human intervention, shall I say. Hindi na po tayo magiging vulnerable to mga pakiusap na pwede bang ma-bump off or mauna ito. I just would like to emphasize po na ito po ay isang global system na hindi naman po dinetermine ng post. So, ang interface po natin dito ay teknolohiya. So, malilesen po natin yung yun nga po, yung elemento na, well, I think it's a level playing field. No? Of course, as I mentioned before, I understand na may mga kababayan naman po tayo na hindi sanay sa ganito. That is why we will take steps po na magkakaroon po tayo ng on-site na computer at merong mag-a-assist, I suppose, for the first few weeks, those who wish to avail themselves of this service. Actually, not wish to avail, but who need to avail of these services. Just a bit kapagyan lang po, since kayo po ang or ang clients po ang mag-i-input, once may mali po, wala po kaming power para i-edit yun. Well, that is the guidance sa amin po. And therefore, you will, shall I say, if may mamali, you need to register again for another appointment. So, ayun po ang magiging change natin. Okay po.
Is that a standard procedure or is that an option? Like what we do, here, we have online application and we also have personal application.
As ma'am, it's a standard application for all foreign service posts.
Okay, so you need to say that it's only online as well, right?
Opo. Opo, ma'am. It is already implemented in other foreign service posts. And eventually po, ganyan din po ang mangyayari sa ating visa application system. Inaayos lang po yung some technical glitches and then magiging ganun na rin po.
Kailan po ang start?
Our guidance is imamigrate po yung old system, ending po is Feb 28. However, from what I understand, we have already given appointments sa early part of March, and therefore we will honor that appointments and we will block the system dun sa period na nakabigay na po kami ng mga appointments.
Is it open now for questions and answers?
Well, can you just continue afterwards and then
Exactly.
we will isang go na lang tayo sa mga questions and
Yes,
answers.
yes.
Because I think this will be a lot more questions than
Exactly.
OBS.
Okay, so yun lang naman po yung sa changes, transition natin sa consular system. And then another issue that I would like to bring up is, I suppose you're all familiar with this, this also concerns you, meron po tayong new entry rules sa Pilipinas. Now, I do not think I'm the best person to discuss that. For me, the best resource for that is still the IATF resolution, which is IATF resolution 160 series, 160-A, 160-B. Now, perhaps I could just give you the broad strokes, and then if you would be bothered to read those resolutions or even a summary of it, if you have questions, you may approach me. In broad strokes po, fully vaccinated individuals ang allowed sa Pilipinas. Natanggal na po ang classification ng red, yellow, and green countries. And then we have recognized proofs of vaccination And these are the ICV, International Certificate of Vaccination, the yellow card, and then VaxCert PH. And then for specific countries na meron po tayong reciprocal agreements, honored din po ang digital COVID certificate or even the hard copy of it. Among our 4 countries of jurisdiction po, the digital vaccination certificate of Austria as well as of Slovenia are accepted for purposes of entry in the Philippines. As a general rule also, if you're fully vaccinated, there is no longer any mandatory facility quarantine requirement. You're only expected to observe self-monitoring of symptoms for 7 days. And then there are other nuances po, and then you can approach me after reading the resolution. So, I think that's it. Yes,
May additional yung hiningi yung ITF galing sa ating yung One Health Pass.
yes.
Yeah, One Health Pass.
Yes, that is
3 days before departure. Before arrival.
Actually, sir, let me just correct you on that. In fact, I think the One Health Pass is required by airlines, but technically, per the rules, you may even have it upon arrival. Dun mo na yun ito.
Okay, din na.
But airlines require it as a precondition for boarding. Also, I'd like to clarify po pala ang definition po natin ng Filipino kasi the rules are couched in such a way that you separate Filipinos from non-Filipinos. I understand how sentimental we can be about being Filipinos, but for our purposes, Filipino means Philippine passport holder po.
Let's have the questions after the full presentation or approach Trisha. But for now, we will end the questions there because this will take a very long time. I can understand the maraming tanong. I'll get back to you, sir, after the presentation. Thank you, Trish. And now we go to the third agenda item for tonight, which are possible joint projects between the embassy and the Filipino community. May I now invite Sir Frank again to the podium?
I would like to add lang to what Consul Trisha earlier mentioned. Kasi po, skeleton force po actually ang embassy because we cater to both the UN and embassy plus the 4 countries under our jurisdiction. So, hindi po marami ang tao sa embassy and so we try to follow a certain process. Ngayon po, makikiusap lang po ako sa inyo na kasi alam ko po community leaders kayo and sometimes medyo marami yung endorsements ninyo. So, there's nothing wrong with that. Pero please, let's try to discipline ourselves na lang po kasi we don't turn down emergency cases. But if it's not emergency cases, could you please lang po advise your members not to follow the process na lang. Something like as simple as yung appointment system. Kasi po minsan, obviously if the person concerned sa tingin niya emergency, pero kung lumapit sa iyo, baka i-assess naman niya kung totoong emergency talaga yung case. So if it's true, talagang itong emergency po na kailangan pumunta sa Pilipinas and so forth, kailangan may dokumento, then we would exercise a lot of extreme flexibility. Pero pag sa tingin namin normal naman, pero nakiusap lang, I hope naman po you understand na we are trying to be more disciplined and we are trying to follow a process. So kung pwede po lang, kung pwede lang, na i-advise po ninyo yung mga humingi ng tulong sa inyo na sundan yung tamang proseso. Kasi po, if you look at it dispassionately, hindi naman fair sa mga taong sumusunod sa proseso. Yun lang, makikiusap lang po sa inyo. But having said that, yung meat of the meeting now is basically for us to brainstorm kung if talagang merong activities we can do collectively. So it will not come from me. It will come from you, of course. If there are certain activities which you feel na we can do together, please say so. We will write it down here. Pero, after that, after we write down these possible activities, yung proponents po niyan, we will ask you to kindly submit a very simple proposal para matignan natin ng mas maayos. Kasi dito we can have 10, 20 ideas, narrow it down to 10, pero the devil is in the details, ika nga. So we will look at your proposals, tapos we'll identify siguro 3 to 5 fair these activities we can do as collectively. I think it's fair enough naman. Kasi kung more than 5, baka mamaya, and then you have your own respective activities pa, baka overstretch tayo yan. So please, kung meron kayong, if you feel na meron activities we can do together as a group, please let us know. Yes, Ma'am Marcel. Yes, po, please.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Magandang gabi. Thank you so much to the Philippine Embassy with our very dynamic CDA at its helm. I'm so happy that we have this opportunity to be here. I'm here on behalf of the European Network of Filipino Diaspora in Austria. And when you talk about possible projects and activities for 2022 that we can collectively work on, something came to mind, which was triggered by one of your statements, CDA Frank, at the Rizal anniversary, wherein you said that the actual 75th anniversary of Philippine-Austrian bilateral relations actually started in October 2021 and last until October 2022. When we were planning activities as a community, the understanding was 2021 was the year and that was it in terms of activities. But having heard you say that, inspired NFID Austria to come up with something. For those of you who witnessed it, we organized a Philippine-Austrian festival parade last year in commemoration of the Philippine-Austrian bilateral relations, its 75th anniversary. We were able to gather different groups, and some of them are here, who presented festivals from different parts of the Philippines. We were even able to encourage the Musikverein Leopoldau to play for the very first time here in Austria the Philippine national anthem. It was colorful, it was meaningful, it was very well kind of appreciated, not just by the Filipinos, but by the Austrians. So on this very positive note, we have decided, and of course, in cooperation, hopefully with everyone who are here, and under the banner of the Philippine Embassy, to do another parade this year. So although we had the parade last year and we decided to do it every 2 years, because it took a lot of work. It was a lot of work and a lot of expenses that we did not foresee. So we are offering, as a form of collaboration with the Philippine Embassy, basically under your helm, and with all the organizations present here, especially those who did not participate because of lack of time, because of the pandemic and everything. We have a date. We're negotiating with the police of Vienna and the 10 or 12 institutions that we have to approve this on the 27th of August, 2022. So if you would like to add it to your list, we'd be very happy to lead as NFID Austria, but together with you, hand in hand. In any activity, unfortunately, one has to lead, and this is where we are offering our service in effect, because we have done it once, and I'm sure we can do it again, especially probably level up with more participants. So that's from NFID Austria. And just from another organization that should have been represented here by Dr. Efren Abaya, who is indisposed, we have the fourth flower offering at the Catalpa trees in Rat House. This is usually done every 12th of June, and this time it will be a Sunday, and it's in cooperation with the mayor's office. So this year we would like to encourage many more organizations to come and join us. The Philippines is one, if not the only country, who was given this opportunity to plant catalpa trees during the centennial. So it's there, it's alive. Actually, Carmen here was among the proponents of that one, and it basically cements and represents the relationship we have with Austria. So dalawa po yun, kung gusto nyong isali, isama, and we'd be happy to collaborate with everyone who would like to do it with us. Yung po ay activity ng Philippine-Austrian Cultural and Educational Society. Maraming salamat.
Maricel, could
Yes.
I ask, because I was not informed about that parade, sa totoo lang. It's not, I don't have gripes, huh? And then I was talking to other Philippine leaders, sinabi din nila sa akin, they were not talked, or they were not approached about that. And it came out as a celebratory parade for the 75th year of diplomatic relationship between Austria and the Philippines. And that the Philippine community in Austria put it in a platform.
Thank
But
you.
actually, a lot of us didn't know.
Thank you so much again for
And
that. Yeah, maraming
one
salamat.
leader then he's one of those, among those.
Thank you so much for that, Ken. What we had done when we had planned it was actually we had proposed it to the embassy and mentioned it to the embassy. The original plan was to do it collaboratively, where either the embassy writes the Filipino community, or both ENFID Austria and Philippine embassy writes to the community, or simply ENFID Austria with a note from the embassy that it is a community endeavor. Unfortunately, this did not work out, but we did contact, and because of lack of manpower, we're only 7 in an organization that did a parade for the whole community. There were letters that were sent out to certain leaders that we know of, but we are not aware of all the leaders that are here. None of their, I mean, it's, okay, it sounds like an excuse, but that was the reality. We apologize to those who were not contacted, but we had used social media. What we did was went full blast on social media, and those we don't even know of approached and said they wanted to join. So that's why for the next one, if that would work out, this is a lesson learned on our side.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you for pointing it out. It's good po that we are now talking here. There's always room naman for improvement. And I think if we all agree to have this kind of parade, it would be I think it would be a much better parade than last year. I dare say. So, yun po, some of the common objectives we can have is, for example, to entice the youth to rediscover their Filipino roots. Baka that's something that's something to think about. Another thing is things that will and activities that will further enhance profile of Filipinos here in Austria, para proud naman tayo na alam ng mga Austriano ito pala ang Filipino community capable of doing this to nation building in Austria, di ba? That's something that strikes at the very core. So these are some of the common activities po na we can collectively pursue. Ngayon, as I mentioned at the start of this evening, if majority of us do not agree to some activities, then we don't push through with it. So tonight is just a social gathering, di ba? That's it. But at least we made the effort. Okay po? So, do I hear any more ideas? Please, yes ma'am. Yes, please come to the front.
Yung pa yung pinapasabi yung buwan ng ating presidente, si Ate Emma. Ako ang acting secretary kasi ang Filipino. Nag-cancel siya, nag-drop siya sa CPA, and so ako yung acting na secretary. And so we are including, if it's possible, yung independence ball natin every year. We already have a schedule that will be on June 4, Mario. Yes, and the Barrio Fiesta. Hopefully, it will be allowed already to gather, yung ating community event. And so we also wanted to include that independence ball, but the independence ball and then the Barrio Fiesta. And
No. June 4 is Independence Day.
Independence ball is June.
Independent ball.
Independence Day ball. Independence Day. And then the Barrio Fiesta, I think we also have a schedule already. July 23. And we are inviting the organizations who wanted to join the Council of Filipino in Austria. I think we, we are talking about unity and everything. I think this is the moment na, this is the platform na meron pa tayo ngayon at the moment na pwede tayong magkaisa. And if you wanted to join, may nakausap na kami who wanted to join like the Sunshiners, and sa mga iba nating mga organization na hindi pa kasali dito, you are welcome to join. And going back to that Philippine Poster Festival na nagawa noong MP, that was very nice, na sample ng pagkakaisa natin. The only thing that I wanted to tell about that one na sinuggest po na hindi nangyari, and suppose na ito itong pag-usap natin, I told them to include the logos of the organization who joined in that event, ano? Hindi na nangyari yun. So I think nandito tayo ngayon to talk about that, and when we do it again, it's a community event under the ng Philippine Embassy that will do it nice. Thank you.
Any other ideas po? Yes. Kayo po manat na kayo.
Mr. Babayo, last year during the meeting here, there was a proposal and I proposed it now. And I think Maricel knows me that I am a Philippine guest. Because I actually proposed to also make a program for Inted. We had a reception where I invited a lot of donors and sponsors, the old families in Austria, for the exchange program.
Faces, Ken.
Faces, that was Faces, and also for the Philippine desk, so that there would be a cultural exhibition in Vienna, in Austria, that would somehow connect us to they were sort of colonizers, so to speak, the Habsburgs. But we were actually colonists of the Habsburg. We were a colony of the Habsburg before. Pero this time kasi, the program was to subvert that kind of concept na colonize tayo. In fact, we had a lot of influences in Europe na reverse yung contribution. And I would like to, and some of you knows that project pa, it's not dead pa, to continue that project. We will have an exhibition inviting an artist who went to Columbia University, had an exhibition in London. The sponsors were the Zubels. He would intervene in the castle of the Liechtensteins here with a collection of artifacts and also exhibit the Philippine artifacts of the art history and Volkskunde. It's the World Museum. And I would also invite the grandson of the Baron Drasche who collected the artifacts from Ifugao. They still live in one of the castles, to present it to Austria. And that's our contribution here. I gave the proposal again to Minister Alea so that he could read it. Kaso lang na pandemic na last year, so Ambassador Natividad couldn't react to it. Pero we hope it's not dead yet. And if it pushes through, because we need a lot of sponsors for that, we need a lot of money, then I would like to, if you allow me to communicate to you, and so that we could all together present this project. Kasi this is not just showing pinikling and pandango sa ilaw to Austria, but this is actually showing what we had contributed to the country of Austria and why we are called the Filipinos, named after Philip, who was a Habsburg. Our last queen actually is born here, just 60 kilometers from Vienna. She was Maria Cristina of Habsburg, who became the queen in Spain. So she was actually our last ruler. Pero this is not a story of colonization. This is a story of a relationship. It's a lot of scholarship work, pero I would just propose that.
Thank you po. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Kanina, you were there, tapos somebody.
Iyakin ko lang po sa nasabi namin, Secretary. Napag-isipan din namin grupo at saka ni Reden, kung magiging okay ang sitwasyon dito sa Vienna. Unahan kasi natin ang unang paligtasan ng ating mga kababayan. Madali tayo magplano, pero tingnan muna natin ang sitwasyon. Pero nakaplano kami, kung pwede sa sports, kagaya ni Reden, yung Filipino Basketball Association. So napag-isipan namin baka pwede tayo gumawa ng basketball league with Filipino community, with embassy, Ambassador's Cup or Filipino Embassy's Cup na join ng Filipino community. Yan ang isa namin pinaplano, kausap ko si Reden at si Ray Aresa, ang Vice President. Kung magiging okay ang sitwasyon, sa mga kabataan naman tayo, magiging tutok sa kanila para mawin sa sports, hindi lang sa basketball, volleyball, kagaya ng taekwondo, the martial arts, pwede natin pong gawin.
Or, sorry to interrupt, or yung very unique sport sa atin, yung arnis.
Arnis,
It's getting-
paplano nila.
It's getting recognized now in Europe.
Yeah, kaya nga nagtapos tayo para planuhin natin ang sports.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, please. And then afterwards, there's somebody here.
If I may introduce myself, my name is Alexander Hernandez. I'm the president and chairman of the Filipino Martial Arts Federation of Austria. I'm representing four martial arts styles coming from the Philippines and backed up, and soon hopefully also member of the PECAF. PECAF is the Philippine Extreme Kali Arnis Federation. And I will be also here doing the representation of the country representative, the Filipino Classical Arnis, Abanico Tres Puntas, Tisha Kali, Filipino Combat Systems, and Government Arms Training. I'm also the representative of SILAT system from Malaysia. I'm also registered there. I'm running here my company, working at the ACAHA as well. Yes, I want to introduce this community. I'm the first time here. My mom was also here for her association, and I want to continue the Filipino relationship with the Austrians because I was born here, 79. I'm 42 years old, and was never exposed to the culture and martial arts. You know, I started very late, and I imported all my technology, you know, from my grandmasters, coming from the Philippines, from US, inviting here to Vienna, conducting seminars. I'm attending seminars from all over Europe. You know, I do this for now for 15 years. Okay, and this is the first. I'm so thankful to stand in front of you, right, and introduce the art. And I think appropriate introduction also for the next generation. Of course, we value the people who came here, who sacrificed their life and families left here, and supporting our families, you know, back home. But I think it's also to create a deeper relationship, you know, with the young people, and also with the Austrian government. I had also a political background before that, but I'm here. You can contact me. My name is Alex, and sure we can support each other, and that hopefully I can represent the next generation of Filipinos living in Austria, because here we are, we're Austrians, and yeah, I love the country, you know, and it was so hard for me to growing up here, you know, because it's so different, you know, with the values. My mom came here; she was the youngest nurse, 73, coming here. She's so courageous, and I'm so proud of her. And yes, so that's why I'm here, and I'm also big supporter is also our big politician and consul, you know, Frank. We also work together and train together to exchange, you know, studying the art, because my grandmaster calls me the caretaker. I'm documenting and transporting the technology of older times, you know, to the new generation. And also my associates, they have businesses. They come from police, from government, law enforcement, military, and this is my surrounding. And today I think it's the first time I present my work at this convention, and I hope we have a good future, you know, also for children, of course, you know. Thank you. Thank you.
Ano meron pa pang isa? Ay, yes.
Magandang hapon po. My name is William Chensa for anybody's information. Sa mga hindi ko nakakilala. I'm a father of 3 and I've been here since 1998. I'd just like to add some more details about what Elmer said about our vision to unify especially the youth regarding sports. We have at the moment 15 existing sports club of Filipinos here in Austria. Aside from ball games, yung mga indoor games, pang 50 na nga yung kay Alex na martial arts. And our vision when Sir Bing came here, I think I also suggested dun sa meeting, kung hindi lang po nagka-pandemic, we should have made it last year on the 75th year yung palarong pambansa, whereas we are supposed to tap all the presidents of this sports club to make a unifying league na meron one day na grand meeting for the championships of possible sports in a certain area. And maganda po kung talagang makasama natin ang embahada and the organizations because we are planning to make it on a regional basis. We made it on 2015 possible sa basketball, yung regional. We were able to cut it to 8 teams because some regions have deficiency of players. Kaya it was only 8 regions. But I think with the cooperation of majority or all organizations, it will help us na yung 17 existing regions natin sa Philippines can be represented in this possible big league or big sports gathering maybe in 2 years in the making. Kasi kung possible na yung mga indoor halls, yung mga outdoor activities, then we will make it. But eventually, natap na po namin yung mga ibang presidents ng sports clubs. Like sa bowling, sa darts, volleyball. And motivation po sa youth ay napakaganda ng feedback, like our basketball, the Vienna Paladins, which was initiated with a mixed culture of Austrians and Filipinos before. After nung regional, nung ma-breakout po yung team nila, naging open sila sa other Filipinos, hindi lang sa mga mixed cultures. So now they are on the 3rd level sa Vienna local league, yung basketball team natin, Vienna Paladins. And sa volleyball naman po, yung motivation ng mga babae, the players natin, they are on the 2nd level sa local league ng Austrians. Kaya we hope to encourage more youth and let them forget about drugs or any other illegal activities but more on sports. Salamat po.
Question. Thank you.
Isama mo naman yung billiard.
Oh, yung kasama yan. Kasama yan sa 15.
Magandang hapon po. So, siguro nalimutan natin yung language and history. So, I think it can be a good project for our children because most of our children speaks only 2 languages here. And they are, Filipino language is strange for them. So, siguro, kasi hindi naman nagbago yung mukha natin. Nagbago lang yung papel. So, I think it's basic to give them the background of our, kung saan tayo galing. So, I may be from the south, I speak Bisaya. But maybe our children can learn also yung national language natin. Kasi yung ibang mga nationalities dito, katulad ng Turkay, they are good in dealing with the German language, at the same time, the Turkish language. So, very good. Katulad ng mga Yugoslavians. But for us Filipinos, talagang, ano ba yan? Nag-uul kung ano. How would you translate that in Tagalog? Hindi ako nasiyahan. Hindi ako nasiyahan. Because most of our children here, the third generations of Filipinos here in Austria, is only confined to German language, Deutsch. And the rest, even English, is seldom speak in the community. And even the parents speaks also German to the children na dapat hindi dapat gawin kasi mali-mali naman yung German natin. Ito tayong mga basmaken. Basmaken do. I would challenge also the community to make this as our project here. As our legacy for our children. Because after all, they are still Filipinos with brown eyes pa, black hair, and brown skin. Maraming salamat.
So the proposal, meron na noon.
Dati na yung pasubuan ng para sa Pilipinas, nawala lang yun. So yan ang isang pwedeng yun ang parang ano, pwedeng
Exactly. We could resurrect that naman. Yung summer, yung school.
Hindi naging active
Meron
talaga sa
tayong linggo ng wika.
Meron tayong lingkod ng wika, pero wala namang buwan.
Pero meron din paaralan noon, paaralan sa pasubuan. We had it. And
Meron tayo, pero
I
bigla din nawala.
yes, I taught a subject to that one.
Kaya lang kasi nagkaroon ng pandemic kaya lang siya.
Ben,
Tony Bosa.
isang tanong lang. I think with regards to suggestion ni Ben, katulad noon, nagkaroon na tayo ng paralan na turuan ng mga bata about Filipino culture, di sabi nyo biglang nawala. Pero kailangan siguro tayong mga parents ay tungkulin natin na tuturuan natin ang ating mga anak kung tungkol sa what is Philippines all about. Philippines, parang kanta ba ni Yoyoy, Philippines has the great history according to our geography. Manila is the capital city. Kaya nga, hindi naman ako nagyayabang. Ako'y Ilonggo, ang anak ko ay siyempre dito pinanganak, marunong ng German, marunong ng English, kausapin mo siya ng Ilonggo, kaya niya, kausapin mo siya ng Tagalog, kaya niya. Kaya sinasabi natin, education always starts at home.
Boy.
Anyone else?
Wala na siguro.
Sige po, marami na po yan, but yes, I agree po with you. But kung Filipino language, paano po yan? Kasi medyo matagal po yan. Siguro we can complement it by having, I don't know, film showing para may appreciation naman po ng historical roots nila. I don't know,
Yes,
just,
a theatrical program.
something like that.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
marami tayong suggestion. I just have it came to my mind, marami tayong suggestion dyan. So, there are some programs that's a one-time program, tapos there could be a program that could be an ongoing, like a sports thing, a language thing, educational thing, process sa mga bata dito. Siguro we could group them together. Suggestion ko lang yan ha, ito sa mga suggestion. Like for example, yung Barrio Fiesta, the Independence Ball, the parade, so that we don't get so bogged down, parang ang dami yata, we could maybe create a committee o gagawin natin yan, that's our summer independence celebration. Yung parang ganon. And then siguro the other situation is like yung kwan sa World Museum, the cultural exchange thing, debate on that, exhibition, that doesn't have to be during June. The sports activities could be an ongoing thing, so that yung the details will not be too stretched out.
Okay, yes.
Sorry, Vince Granado.
Please stand up.
Hi, Vince Granado, the VP of External Affairs for Club Filipino in the VIC. I'm actually American, and I moved here for work. to enculturate the children, I'll tell you the best way is when they're young, and we have a lot of young children here. And what the parents need is help in the summertime to watch the children. So if someone were to organize a enculturation camp in the summer,
There
which
is.
one-
But there is.
There is.
Yep, for the
There is.
Filipinos.
It's
Like this,
existing.
where you
Yeah.
teach the language, you teach the
Yes,
culture,
yes, there
and you
is.
watch our kids, I guarantee you will have so many kids there.
There is.
Yeah.
They have camp, they have school,
But
summer
then,
camp.
but then the parents don't know about it, so I don't know about it. My kids will already be there.
My kids, they,
But that's why I think, that's why we're here, to do this communication, di ba? Para ma-consolidate natin yung mga isa-isang programs.
Yeah.
natigil lang naman yun dahil nagpa-pandemic.
So, ganito po, can we agree on the process? First of all, can you please, the proponents, can you please put it in writing? Doesn't have to be elaborate. Just very simple. Tapos, I don't know if you will give us the liberty, us in the embassy, to assess which ones can be done collectively,
Yeah.
which ones can be done as per individual group. If you allow us that, then we will narrow it down to 3 to 5, bearing in mind, of course, yung resources, kasi malaking factor po yan. And please don't expect a lot from the embassy, kasi we don't really have a lot of resources, financial resources, I mean. So, if you will allow us, so to repeat, submission of proposal, and then for the embassy to vet which ones are probably magawa collectively.
Excuse me,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Actually, ho, yung Independence Ball at saka yung Barrio Fiesta is being organized by the CFAA, composing of how many organizations we have now? 11 organizations.
Ano na lang yun? Ngayon na
So,
lang.
actually, halos karamihan ng big organizations is nandun na sa
Nagsasama-sama na.
sama-sama na dyan.
Sige po.
It's yearly, that's our,
Sige po. Noted. So can we expect your proposals po by in 2 weeks time? Simple proposal. Tapos we will vet it. We'll narrow it down to 5, 3 to 5, 5 maximum. And then I don't know if we have time to meet again just to share with you yung 5. Perhaps siguro we can email you and then or write a letter. We will write a letter to you saying that these are the 5 and get your reactions. And then from your reactions, siguro we start forming committees. If this is acceptable to you, unless you have other proposals on how to go about the process.
yeah.
Comments po? Ha? Kung wala, gagawin ko lang.
Amenable dun
Ah.
sa sinabi.
Yes, ma'am.
May ask, is that also including the Independence Ball in the Barrio Fiesta? Because I think the embassy are already aware of that event, really? Yes.
Ganito na ma'am, in the spirit of fairness,
Okay.
kung you just write it 2 to 3 pages maximum. So, 2 pages, double space. Kung pwede lang mo, para fair lang sa lahat.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah. Thank you po.
Okay, now so we open the floor for questions. The time is limited, so 1 question per person, max. Maximum, please. Okay, sir.
With regards to the IETF rules, nabanggit kanina, parang okay na yon. Nagkakaroon tayo ng magandang balita na wala ng quarantine kung nakaabot na tayo ng naka-booster dose. Pero may bagong, parang itong nakakagulat na balita na are we Filipinos when entering the Philippines, may nakasulat doon, only 30 days, Filipino, former Filipino na nag-Austrian citizen na, example lang. That really the what will happen to us. I've asked this because I have already bought a ticket that is in April, and I'm coming back on after the election maybe. Yeah. So,
Vice
and another one.
Uy, isa lang, sir. Isa lang po. Madaming tao. Isa lang
What
po.
yun, continuation ng tanong yun. At saka, related yun sa tanong na yun. Saka sa insurance. Pwede man natin ma-elaborate. Kasi parang pinapakuha na lang kami ng bagong insurance. Ma'am?
Teka lang, okay. Okay na, sir.
Okay.
Kota. Okay,
Okay.
kota, sir. Okay. Miss Trisha.
By the way, I'm Boy Torres, Ilonggo Community in Austria.
Thank you, sir. Salamat po sa tanong. You've actually zeroed in on a question that I cannot answer. We're all confused about it as well, and I'm being upfront about it. Right now, I can only give the rules as written because yun po ang may basis ako. And the rules as written right now is that, yes, you must get insurance, balikbayan, Filipinos must be able to present a return ticket within the 30 days allowed. Okay, but, and here's the but, na wala po akong pinanghahawakan na basis, except that we've asked that question also to the decision makers for clarification, because you are not the first and neither are you the only person asking that. We've been receiving a deluge of calls on that particular question. And they said, and I quote, they believe that there will soon be an amendment as to that 30-day requirement. I take it to mean, if we are optimistic about it, kung ano po yung privilege sa balikbayan, which is, the way I understand it, is a year.
Yes.
Well, I suppose we should be hopeful na yung amendment na yan will be reduced into writing, because that's the only one that we can honor before your trip. So as it stands right now po, those are the rules. 30 days, you must be able to present a return ticket, and then the insurance requirement still stands. But again, let me repeat myself, ang sinabi po kanina, fresh pa, tama ba Ms. Shirley, na they believe that there will be an amendment soon on IATF Resolution 163. Let's just hope that that amendment will happen soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What will happen to us if we are given only 30
Teka lang. Lampas na po kayo, sir. Marami pa po kayo.
Na home quarantine, 23 days na lang maiwan. No, maloko-loko mo nitong taga-ITF.
Sir, come on. Ganito na lang, sir, ha? For purposes, para hindi masyado matagal itong discussion and we don't dwell on one case and other people have a chance to ask questions. Sir, please wait na lang for the next resolution. I think that's the safest thing that we can say at the moment is that mag-abang ho kayo ng latest IATF resolution.
Sir, kailan po ang biyahe ninyo?
April pa, ma'am. First week.
Matagal pa yun, no? Marami pa yan.
Nakapagpapil na tayo, bibili natin.
Okay, sir.
Paano kung bibili tayo ng ticket, hindi na natin ma-refund. Mahal ang bayad, magpapa-refund ka, kukuha ka ng another 30 days na ticket.
All your concerns, Sel, are valid. I'd be as frustrated as you are, but just to appease you, please leave us your number, and then the minute that a new IATF resolution comes up, I will personally call you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next, Mr. Ken. One question only, ha? Wala nang patawad. One question.
This is siguro not a question, but a request from the embassy, because as far as I know, sa Philippine desk ako, Philippine International Cooperation Desk, there's an agreement between the Philippines and Austria regarding insurance, healthcare system. So that if we have an ID, all of us here have this green card, that's supposed to be honored by any hospital in the Philippines. Now I would like to request the embassy, humbly, if you could inquire regarding this issue. Kasi there was Ambassador Siason who did it before, and there is already an agreement between the Philippines and Austria that our insurance here is valid and credited in the Philippines.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I think Kuya Ken, that is already given. Only thing is that you have to pay first and then they will
It's already working.
Yeah, they will refund.
Yeah, but then you don't have to get a new insurance. That was my question. Or my request lang.
The green card.
Yeah.
The green card itself.
Yeah. But, yeah, if you are insured in Austria and you will get sick sa Philippines, pa-hospital ka, bayaran mo muna. Pag-getting dito, pwede mo bayaran.
No, but my point is that hindi niyo naintindihan. Ganito kasi.
Why require an extra?
Exactly. Pag meron akong ganito,
Bakit additional?
exactly. Pag meron akong ganito, bakit bibili pa ko ng 1,000 euro na insurance kung meron akong ganito? So that's my question.
That's me, about this. So,
Sandali lang Ken, ano? Usually, ang nasa Pilipinas, yung mga hospital natin, lalo na sa mga parkland areas, no? Although, mayroon tayong ganyan, humihingi pa rin sila ng cash.
Yes, and then you can refund.
So, ang mangyari niyan, bibigyan ka ng resibo, dalhin mo dito sa Gibits Kanking Kasa.
No, but that's not my question. My question
Yeah,
is the
it's-
bureaucratic
nakuha
issue
namin yung question
on the
namin.
airport.
Pero, yun ang nangyari eh.
Okay, point taken. Ngayon, we will look into this because I handle our bilateral affairs. I have no idea that we have a health insurance agreement with
Yes.
Austria.
Yeah.
I will check into that. We will look into it.
Salamat.
Point taken, we will look into it. Okay, next question please, ma'am.
I want to follow up with regards to the consular services. Community na sa mga nagtatanong. Of course, naiintindihan namin yung 24 that reminder na sinabi mo kanina na yun, yung pag may nag-refer, the only thing is that minsan kasi yun ang sinasabi namin kasi we know that nasabi naman kayo sa mga emails, lalo na yung mga, may mga times kasi dati noon na naglalabas yung email address niyo, yung passport, yung consular naman. So, ang nangyayari, hindi sila nakakatanggap ng replies. So, that's the point na sinasabi namin na i-screenshot ninyo yung email mo sa kanila and then email pa. But that's what we do. And personally, that's what I do. Kapag may malapit sa akin na nagtatanong ng embassy, sa room ng embassy, wala what they need, sa passport game, magsulat kayo sa mga may mga email address. Anday kung walang mga email, yung mga matatanda, yun talaga nag-email ako. But that is the karamihan na sinasabi nila na when they have email, kaya ang sinasabi ko, pinapa-screenshot ko yung mga emails nila at hindi sinasagot. Yun. And so now we are coming with this online application. Yun ang gusto kong tanungin para alam namin alam ko, kung alam namin ang sasagot namin sa kanila kung magtatanong sila. So, yung online application na yun sa mga sinabi ni Consul ni Patricia. So, as kung mag-uumpisa, kailan na mag-uumpisa ba?
March 1.
Okay. So it means to say na yun lang. Sa
Yes.
online lang.
Yes, as Vice Consul said earlier, wala na ho kaming say sa system. The system is worldwide. We do not have any control with it. Unfortunately, sa ating mga kababayan, talagang ito na po ang start ng we all need to learn how to use the computer and do it that way. Kasi wala ko kaming choice. We cannot manually override that system.
Okay, so ang kuha na lang namin, pag halimbawa, point namin sila sa link and we hope that the link is in the website of the embassy.
Yes, it will be on the website. It will be published on all our social media pages. Before the rollout, of course, we will also have like a how to get a passport appointment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Tutorial.
Kasi
That
doon kasi doon nagkakuan minsan kaya nakuhan sila na kasi walang sagot yun sa email, kung ngayon na online na, it is better kasi basta nandoon yung link. Kasi ang nangyayari ngayon na, kaya sila nagtatanong minsan sa amin kasi, But that's what we are saying, na lumapit kayo, ay magsulat kayo because nasasagot naman kayo.
Salamat po, ma'am. Dahil sa totoo lang po, sa dami ho ng aming nare-receive na emails everyday, hindi lang emails, pati tawag, nakita nyo naman ang aming team, it's very lean. But we get hundreds of emails. So, you need to understand also na meron din kaming limitations in that sense. We will answer all your emails, and I am sure that we will answer them. Mr. Ben?
Regarding this visa application or the passport applications, kasi yung mga kababayan natin, hindi naman lahat computer literate, ano? Yung may iban pa dyan, natakot sa computer.
Yun naman.
Mga talagang mahirap talaga turuan kasi matanda na. Maybe I suggest na mayroon tayong tutorial, ano? Tutorial na palabas doon sa embassy site.
Meron weeks daw.
Oh yeah. Uda yung mga parang comic style na they will follow the procedure. Step 1, step 2, 5, from 1.
Yes, that is in the pipeline. We will definitely have that. And as Vice Consul Tricia said, meron nga kami ilalagay na computer sa baba. Kung yung sa mga first few weeks ng rollout namin, kung talagang may hindi talaga makakuha, paano gawin yun?
Papawin na lang natin.
Pero talaga ho, kailangan talaga, there's no way for us to override the system. Yun talaga ang message namin dito, kailangan talaga it's through that system.
Kaya iba wala nang computer.
Ay, hindi namin ho. Mahirap na ho yan.
Consulting yun na lang siguro ang mag-assist ang community, ano, leaders of community, how to facilitate them in their application.
But I cannot also understand because di ba dapat may personal application at may online? Is that only special to the Philippines? Philippines na ganyan na talagang kailangan online or I don't know? Kasi we are talking about literacy and yung mga matatanda o something of course may mga pamilya sa mga naman yan sinabi niya so talagang yes talaga na online.
Yes. Online lahat po. Wala akong exceptions. So this is something that, again, tama si Mr. Ben, we need your help to educate the community na ito na ang bagong sistema. We will, of course, as we said na we will come out with instructions or guidelines on how to do it. Ngayon, may tanong ho ako. Gusto niyo ba yung guidelines in English or in Tagalog? Anong mas...
Both.
Oh? German pa ba? Nalagay pa ba namin yung German?
Ay, wag na.
Okay. O sige, so both, English, Tagalog.
Bisaya din, Bisaya.
Tausog din.
2 languages only. Okay. Okay, next question po.
German din kasi may mga Austriano nag-a-apply din ng ano eh.
Oo,
Kilala ng Austriano din na
Nag-a-apply ng visa.
Hindi, passport pa lang po ito, ma'am. Passport to, ma'am. Hindi, passport system po ang pinag-uusapan namin. Hindi po. Opo, nandali lang po. Meron pang si Vice Consul.
By the way po ma'am, ma'am and sir, nakaspecify po na dun sa GOAS, ang gagamitin na email is Gmail and Yahoo. Yun po. So dapat po meron po kayong account na I also would like to address po yung the comment. Thank you very much for that comment na hindi nasasagot. Well, that is a context-rich issue, no? Sometimes the emails do not get answered because also the recipient is not responsive to the instructions. There are times also when we list the requirements and yet we receive incomplete requirements. So in order to minimize these instances po, sana po before hitting the enter button, we check kung maayos na po. But we appreciate that feedback, of course. Thank you for that. Within the limits of our manpower, we try to answer, we try to respond in the best way we know how, completely, comprehensively, hindi lang po pure acknowledgement. Not all issues are similar or hindi po yan lahat dekahon. So we have to address all angles and all nuances. So ako na po ang humihingi sa inyo ng, I thank you for your patience po na sometimes the answers are not as instantaneous because it also involves looking into other angles. Hindi naman po one size fits all ang mga sagot dyan. Salamat.
Okay, next question po. Opo, ma'am.
Since nag-mention tayo ng passport, ang question ko, I'm Ming from Bicol Society. Yung mga Filipinos with Austrian passport, can they reacquire a Filipino passport? Is it allowed?
No.
Not allowed by Austria po yan. Hindi po kami ang hindi nag-allow, ang Austrian po ang
It
hindi
is
nag-allow.
allowed, but you have to
Relinquish your Austrian.
renounce your Austrian.
Dual citizenship ito.
Wala.
No dual. No dual.
The Philippines meron po, pero ang Austria po ang hindi po mapayag. Okay, thank you po. Next question, ma'am.
Regarding the voters list, yeah, I just want to ask, all the names in that voters list are allowed to vote?
Yes, every name that's in the voters list can vote. Now, where will you find that voters list? Teka lang. I will just say, magpatalastas lang po muna ako, PSA announcement. You can check it on the COMELEC website.
What if the one who's in that voter list is already an Austrian citizen? Can he still avail of that?
No, only Filipinos can vote, ma'am.
But if he or she is in the voters list?
Then tell us na lang kung sino yun po.
Okay.
But they are not, if you're not Filipino, you are not allowed to vote. Rule of thumb po. Ma'am, sige po.
Kasi may nagtanong sa akin, dalawa sila, they were from Hungary. Tapos sabi nila, pinatransfer na daw, pwede ba yun na embassy to embassy, yung registration nila?
Okay, now you need to, if they really had their registration transferred, you will see this in the voters list. So please check if they have it transferred to Austria, it will be under Austria.
So it is possible, hindi na sila yung gagawa ng magre-register.
No, I'm assuming that they changed their address.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they changed their address, came here and filled out paperwork to change their address. If they didn't do that, they are still in Hungary. Ms. Maricel, that is related to your question.
My question was what's the procedure for informing about the change of address?
Sa totoo lang po, tapos na po yung period for doing that. It was, when we had the registration period, that is also the time when you can change your address.
But because what if the address change is fairly recent after there's no more chance?
There's no more chance. And, we will see, but at this moment, wala pong chance yan. They will probably get their ballots in their old address. That's the thing. If you didn't change your registration during the registration period, you didn't change your address during that period, we cannot do anything po. Unless they can check their mailboxes na lang, their previous addresses. Mr.
Kaya
Edwards?
sinabi ni Marcel, kung wala ng pag-asa makaboto, yung mga lumipat ng bahay, hindi nyo na mapapadalan kasi wala na sila sa address na yun. Eh kung halimbawa, ako, lumipat ako, tapos hindi na ako mapapadalan. O kailangan kung pwede ba kami pumunta sa inyo na lumipat ako ng bahay, na-andiyan ang listahan ko kung ako may nakarehistro pa ngayon, para pwede nyo akuling isama nyo sa listahan nyo sa bago kong address.
Yes.
Hindi ko po yan masasagot at this point because at this point, wala pa kaming resolution or instructions from Manila on this. For this point, it's not possible. At this point, again, in the previous elections, marami kaming instructions na nare-receive at the last minute to check the addresses again. We do not know if we will receive this year. For this election.
Yeah.
So I cannot answer that na pwede. As of now, hindi.
Ang suggestion ko lang sa iyo is go to the post, tell the person to go to the post, meron silang forwarding service para i-forward yung mga post ng tao sa new address nila.
Yeah.
Pwede naman pumunta sa post.
Ms. Maricel.
This is not a question, it's just something that I would like to kind of point out. That in the 2019 election, there were around, I think, 400 ballots that were returned due to incorrect address. But what happened was the embassy was informed by the post office, I guess, because the embassy
Kasi
sent
the name,
out a
hindi naman ang
correspondence
address ang
to
importante.
the Philippines, but that was that election. Like you mentioned, you're not sure if that kind of instruction or procedure will be done. But back then in 2019, they had sent it out to the Filipino, informing that these were all returned to the embassy. And then if they could inform about the change of address. So that's a possibility. The other is what Ken said. You can always go back, go to the post office and provide a forwarding address. But the only thing is this is only valid a year after you've left that address. You cannot go
No,
back.
I do it all the time. Whenever I have, I go, like I'm flying on the 16th of March to 15th of April, because I have a lot from the courts. I tell the post I'm not home within this time to this time,
Yeah.
and they give it to my friend's
Yeah.
place.
You have to pay.
Mr. D.
Pay for the service po.
Building on ano po, the comment by Ms. Maricel, I recall, because I was here, we were here in the 2019 elections, what we did when we received some of the returned envelopes na hindi nakarating sa mga Pilipino, we published
Yes.
the names, just the names of those people na bumalik ang envelope sa embassy, and advise them to contact the embassy para makuha nila yung kanilang envelope.
Very good.
We did that in 2019. We hope we won't need to do that this time around, pero there's always that possibility. But we did that with the express approval of COMELEC. Hindi po na just bigla lang ginawa ng embassy yun. We had to seek the approval, the signal from COMELEC to do that approach. Kasi like you said, may mga times I really need to transfer